Butterflies, and welcome back to Once Upon a Spoiler. I am your host, Samantha Sanderson, almost Elliot. I'm 26 years old, and I am getting married in October. I'm so excited about that, and I'm incredibly lucky. But let's talk about what we came here for. This here is episode 2 of Once Upon a Spoiler, and today we will be discussing season 1, episode 2 of Once Upon a Time. Just a quick reminder, this time we won't have the commentary to go over as I mentioned in the previous episode, but I do have a few bloopers to share with you all, as well as my talking points, and instead of waiting until the end of the episode to go over those, this time I'm just going to sprinkle those in as we're discussing the episode. So let's go ahead and dive right into this one. This is season 1, episode 2, titled The Thing You Love Most. This one was directed by Greg Beeman, edited by Edward Kitsis and Adam Horowitz. The original air date was October 30th, 2011. So if we get a recap of what we learned in the first episode, then we get the logo with a unicorn running through the trees. Now, real quick, someone please email me and let me know if I'm wrong about this at onceuponaspoilerpod@gmail.com. But the only unicorn we actually see in this episode is the one that is Maleficent's pet. Like I said, correct me if I'm wrong, onceuponaspoilerpod@gmail.com, but I'm pretty sure that's the only one that we actually see. Anyway, the episode opens to Henry looking at the clock tower from the last scene of the first episode when the clock ticks for the first time. We then see Mary Margaret eating breakfast, looking out her window, and she notices the clock working as well. Emma's looking out her window when she wakes up, and then the camera pans to the town and everyone seems to be very happy. It's much brighter too. Even Ruby is putting out the open sign for Granny's Diner and Granny smiles at her. Of course, we get to see Henry again, smiling and happy. The song that is playing while we see all of this somehow makes everything seem brighter too. I personally think that it was an excellent choice. We then see Regina looking through Henry's book to find that there are pages that have been torn out. Regina goes to ask Henry about it, but he casually shakes it off as it being an old book and stuff is just missing. She then tells him that she's hurt because he thinks that she's some quote-unquote evil queen and tells Henry that she is his mother. Henry tells her she's not. Regina then tells Henry that she doesn't like what Emma and the book are doing to him and that both are no longer an issue. Henry knows otherwise, but he doesn't say anything. First talking point right here, originally this one was going to be about why Regina was so concerned with the missing pages of the book, but then I realized Regina never learned Emma's name back in the Enchanted Forest. Even after Rumpelstiltskin learned it, he still didn't tell the evil queen. So even though she may have her suspicions as to who Emma actually is, she still needs some type of confirmation. She is clearly scared that it's true and Henry's birth mother is indeed Snow and Charming's daughter, but it's also pretty clear that she doesn't want to face that truth because that would mean all of her hard work is about to be undone. And this also does connect with the very end of the episode, so we'll come back to that. We then see Regina in the middle of town looking at the clock and is angry about the fact that it's moving. Archie approaches her and they talk for a very brief moment before she sees Emma's car behind him across the street. Next, we see Regina offering apples to Emma at her room at Granny's bed and breakfast. Regina tells Emma some facts about Honeycrisp apple trees and then offers her a basketful for her to enjoy on her way home. Emma reads this as another threat, to which Regina basically responds with one, but Emma very clearly states that all she's trying to do is make sure Henry is safe before she leaves. Regina tells Emma that she has no idea what she's capable of, and then we're taken back to the Enchanted Forest to the very moment where the evil queen is making her vow to Snow White and Prince Charming. Okay, two talking points right here. First off, I love the fact that Emma doesn't take anything from Regina. She constantly stands up for herself and just doesn't let Regina intimidate her like the rest of the people in town. And the way that Regina was looking into Emma's eyes when she was telling Emma that she has absolutely no idea what she is capable of was just perfect. And to be completely honest, it's true. Emma literally has no clue what Regina is capable of until there's magic in the land or until they go to a land with magic. Regina will never be able to truly display that to Emma. Now, don't get me wrong, Emma herself is quite capable of plenty on her own, and we later on learn that she is very powerful as well. I'm just saying, for the sake of that particular moment, Regina was absolutely right. Emma literally cannot fathom what exactly it is that she is capable of. Second talking point. I believe I also forgot to mention in the last episode the way that Snow jumped when Charming yelled back at the evil queen saying hey and he threw his sword. That was hilarious. I don't think Jennifer fully expected that to come out of Josh Dallas the way that it did, and it was just funny and it makes me laugh every single time I see it. I can't help it. I still can't get over how beautiful that scene was, but at least we got to see what happened to the sword. We are introduced to the Evil Queen's father, whom we later on in the episode learn to be named Henry. Regina tells him and her magic mirror that she plans to enact the Dark Curse, and to do so she has to get it back from someone. That someone is Maleficent. Talking point right here real quick. The way they made the short scene of the snow-covered forest on the way to Maleficent's castle is incredibly gorgeous, and it's shocking to me that we only get a short glimpse of it because it is just that beautiful. I loved it. I love snow-covered mountains, all that beautiful scenery, all the trees. It was just perfect. So we learn that the Dark Curse was traded for Maleficent's Sleeping Curse, and she won't just hand it over to the Evil Queen. Maleficent warns Regina of the price to be paid in order to enact the curse, and we are given the knowledge that neither of them are the creator of that Dark Curse. Talking points right here real quick. Maleficent's dress is beautiful, and I love the way she was taunting the Evil Queen and the joke about Snow not suffering on her wedding night. And shit. There are no words to describe how funny that is, especially considering I'm about to be getting married as well. So it's like a little extra funny to me right now. Okay, I'm sorry. But I also have to say, I like how they showed this not necessarily softer side of Maleficent, but certainly a little less dark. The way she speaks of her pet unicorn and how pets can be comforting and not wanting to give the Evil Queen the Dark Curse because she knew it would be horrible for literally everyone. It was just nice to get a glimpse of the person behind the scary dragon witch. Yes, I said witch, not the B word. I promised y'all no cursing. And once again, the original creator of the Dark Curse is mentioned, and they tried to give us a hint that whoever it is far more dangerous than both the Evil Queen and Maleficent. And another quick thing about that scene too, Maleficent warned Regina of what would happen should she choose to enact the curse. She told her that there would be this void in her life that she will never be able to fill. She is clearly trying though with Henry. Her killing her own father and ripping everything away from everyone really did take its toll, and she ends up adopting this baby to try to fill that void in her life. Maleficent was right, but more on that later. Back to the show, we then see Regina and a group of villains standing around a fire. She is trying to enact the curse, but it fails, and at first she doesn't know why. We know, but we'll get to that here shortly. Talking point real quick, the tree's moving when the Evil Queen is standing around the fire with some of the other people that have dark souls, and when that little elf guy turned to stone, that was beautifully done, and he ends up as a garden gnome in Regina's yard near her tree in Storybrooke. I thought that was cool and pretty interesting. Next scene opens up to Regina at her apple tree, and Sydney Class has brought her the latest news scoop on Emma and reveals to Regina that Emma had given birth to Henry when she was in jail. Regina deems this knowledge useless and threatens him until he cowardly walks away, stating that he will continue on with his search until he finds something more useful. Another talking point real quick. Sydney Glass, he runs the Daily Mirror. Glass, Mirror. It's so obvious that he's the magic mirror. I mean, come on. I feel like that was very intentional though with some of these characters. I feel like they really wanted you to actually know who exactly they are in the Enchanted Forest as well as Storybrooke, but for some, they really wanted us to question that, and I have to say, it's fun all the way around. Anyway, Emma is given a hot cocoa with cinnamon from Henry, and he knew that she liked it that way because that's how he likes it too. But first she thought it came from Graham because Ruby telling her that it came from a secret admirer. And spoiler alert, Mary Margaret drinks her hot cocoa with cinnamon too. It runs in the family. Emma walks Henry to school, and while they're talking about the curse, Emma is tossing an apple back and forth in her hands. She then goes to take a bite, but Henry asks her where she got it from, and when she tells him who, he tells her not to eat it, and then takes it from her so that he can throw it over his shoulder. That was funny. Henry explains to Emma that if she were to ask anyone in town about their past, it would all be a fuzz to them, and they are basically just oblivious to the fact that they don't age, yet years have gone by. Time has literally been frozen until Emma decided to stay. He also tells her that she's the only one who can break the curse and gives her the last pages of the book that he ripped out, stating that they are dangerous and Regina can't see them no matter what, and that it would be bad if Regina found out exactly who Emma is. Talking point right here real quick. Who else wanted to see more of the buildings and shops that Henry and Emma were walking past on their way to his school? I definitely wanted to see more, and their names. And what was with that guy who just literally walks up to a car and then turns around and walks away? Did anyone else say that and maybe think it was kind of weird? Anybody? Email me? Yeah? Cool? Okay. Okay, so I have 3 bloopers to tell you guys about right here. The first deleted scene from this here episode is going to be whenever Henry is taking the apple from Emma and he goes to throw it over his shoulder, but I'm guessing that he didn't necessarily do it on cue, and that's probably why Emma, aka Jennifer Morrison, was laughing so hard about that. I just thought that was funny and pretty cute. The second deleted scene is going to be from the first episode when the curse is hitting the castle and all the glass shatters around the evil queen. The way that they did that was they had this huge fan, and when they turned it on the first time, Lana is just like, holy, that's really hot. And it was just really funny. There was also this other one from the first episode when Emma meets Archie Pongo. He continued to pull on the leash, so they had a little bit of trouble getting that one. All of it's really funny. Just go to YouTube and type in Once Upon a Time bloopers, and you'll find plenty of entertainment there. I promise you. But anyways, back to the story. They reach Henry's school, and he tells her that he knows she believes in him because she wouldn't still be there if not, and Miss Blanchard walks over to talk to Emma. They discuss Regina and her run as mayor. She's been mayor for as long as Mary can remember, and no one has been brave enough to try to run against her. Emma then asks her who Henry thinks she is in the book, and when Mary says Snow White, the look on Emma's face and the way everything about her expression totally shifted, it was absolutely flawless, and I really feel that it told us everything we needed to know about what was going on inside of her head in that very moment. But of course, she tells Mary Margaret that she's not in the book whenever Mary asks her. Emma then asks Mary where she can find Henry's doctor and goes to pay him a visit. She tells Dr. Hopper that she thinks the whole fairy tale thing is crazy, but he proceeds to tell her that it's simply his way of communicating with other people. He gives her a file on Henry, telling her that Henry talks of her a lot and she is very important to him. He also tells her to be careful on how she handles the situation. We then see him calling Regina after Emma left, telling her that Emma did indeed take the file on Henry, and it was Regina who gave Emma the idea about it in the first place. Quick talking point right here. I hate that Archie got put in the middle of Regina and Emma's feud. She uses him as a pawn, and it's just not right. Sheriff Graham comes to arrest Emma for quote-unquote stealing the file, but Emma already knows that she was very clearly set up. I have another talking point right here I would like to discuss with you all, and it's just a little nitpicky thing of mine. So, when we're taken back to find Emma in her room at Granny's bed and breakfast reading the file that Archie had just given her, what is with the feet and the shoes touching the pillow in which she lays her head on at night? I cannot be the only one who doesn't like it at all when they see a foot or a shoe on a pillow. I'm sorry, but I don't care if you just got out of the shower and there wasn't a single germ on your foot. Get it off of my pillow. I can't. I'm sorry. It's a really big thing of mine, and I don't do it to myself. Why? It bugs me when I see other people do it. I can't. Okay, I'm sorry. Rant over. Regina goes to Henry's school so she can interrupt his class to give him the news. She tries to tell Henry that she's just trying to protect him, but he just wants to go back to class. Talking point right here real quick. I'm sorry, but mayor or not, she nor I would be interrupting a child or my child's school lesson only to tell him or her that their birth mother has been put in jail. Like, I understand you not wanting them to necessarily hear it from other people, but first off, he's in school. He's not going to hear it from anybody else. Second, they clearly don't have cell phones, so it's not like social media is a thing. And third, you really don't think this can't wait until he gets home? Next up, we see Emma and Sheriff Graham talking about Regina and what all she's got her hands in when it comes to the whole town. Mary brings Henry to see Emma to bail Emma out because she says that she trusts her. Emma gets her a nice slice of revenge by cutting down part of Regina's apple tree, telling Regina that if she really wants to come for her, she's going to have to do a lot better than a simple frame job. This scene was absolutely brilliant, and I love how Emma knew just the thing that would get under Regina's skin. The look on Regina's face, too, when Emma was telling her that she has no idea what she is capable of, was just perfect, and you can really see that in her mind she was thinking, I finally have a worthy opponent in this town. Another talking point right here. Emma was so quick to come after something that Regina cares about. That was just some swift, beautiful justice. And her facial expressions when she was telling Regina that she has no idea what she's capable of was just a very incredible moment, and I very much loved it. We are taken back to the Enchanted Forest where the evil queen and her father, Henry, are discussing why the curse didn't work, and he tells her that she needs to go back to the person that gave it to her in order to figure out what she did wrong. But he warns her that revenge is a dark road, and once she goes down it, she can't come back. Talking point right here real quick. Once again, the evil queen is warned of how dark this path is that she's about to take, but she still doesn't heed those warnings. We see Regina first disguised as a rat in the mine where Rumpel is being held before she transforms back to her original self to ask him why the dark curse isn't working. Rumpelstiltskin tells Regina that Snow and Charming paid him a visit as well, and that he told them their child was the key to breaking the curse. All curses can be broken, he says. They make an agreement for Rumpel to have comfort in this new land and for her to do whatever he says as long as he says please, and in exchange he will tell her what she did wrong while attempting to enact the curse. She reminds him that he won't remember the arrangement, so he tells her that there's no harm in it then. When he tells her what she wanted to know, it was very intense, and they definitely pull you into that scene, so finding out that the dark curse requires you to kill the thing you love most is some extremely dark stuff. He then tells Regina to ask herself how far she's willing to go, to which her answer is as far as it takes, and when he said, "You know what you love, now go kill it," that was just, words cannot describe how absolutely perfect that was. Talking points right here. First off, of all possible things, why did she decide to transform herself into a rat to go visit Rumpel? Second, I love how closed in this scene stays between the Queen and Rumpelstiltskin, so you immediately know that this is going to be very interesting and incredibly important. It's also one of those scenes that you just sincerely wish that you were there when it happens, at the very least just a fly on the wall so you can feel and witness their energy firsthand. Also for the fun of it, because I would imagine it took them a few attempts to try to keep their expressions when they were so close to each other's faces. I would have loved to see some of those behind the scenes shots, or maybe be part of the camera crew even. Alright, rant over. Back on topic. Next scene, we find Emma entering her room at Granny's bed and breakfast when Granny comes up behind her telling her that she has to ask her to leave due to their policy on felons. But Emma knows that this is just Regina trying to push her out of town and away from Henry once again. Okay, so I do have a quick talking point right here, and I'm sorry you guys, but the picture on the wall of Granny's bed and breakfast hallway when Granny was asking Emma to leave, it was crooked. Did anyone else see that? The picture of the flowers with the yellow golden frame around it. It's a very pretty picture, but it was crooked, and I have a odd case of OCD. And whenever I say odd case, I mean that whenever I start walking, I have to start with my left foot, and whenever I eat, it has to be even on both sides of my mouth. Weird case of OCD, okay? I feel like we all have it differently, but it bugs me. I had to say something. I'm sorry. Moving on. I know I'm weird. Thank you. Alright, back to the show. Right after this, we see Regina picking up the apples and telling the sheriff that she wants Emma arrested again. Graham calls out Regina for setting Emma up. Regina threatens him by saying that she can take away his job and calls out his crush on Emma. He then tells her that he will arrest Emma again, but also no matter what she does, Emma won't quit, and he knows that Regina won't either, and that the only person who is going to be hurt by this is Henry. And we all know he's right. I mean, they're both in his life now, and no matter how much they don't like it, they have to come together, put their differences aside, and do what's best for Henry. Talking points right here. During that whole conversation between Sheriff Graham and Regina, she got up 3 separate times while she was talking to him in those heels. I couldn't help but notice that. And how ironic is it that the sheriff is warning Regina that Archie's conscience might get the better of him? Just thought that was a fun little thing I'd point out real quick. We then see Emma walking to her car when she receives a call from Regina requesting a meeting with her, and while they're talking, Emma realizes the boot Regina had placed on her car. Talking point, there was a Modern Fashions and a bread bakery shop beside Emma's car whenever it got the boot, and I told y'all I was curious about those shops. And if y'all know of any more of like the names and stuff, please tell me because I'm very curious about them. onceuponaspoilerpod@gmail.com. Thank you. So Emma meets Regina at her office, and at first they discuss Henry and the fact that Emma isn't trying to take him away, she is simply trying to make sure that he's okay. Then they discuss the curse, and Emma said that she thinks it's crazy. At this moment, Henry makes his presence known, is hurt that Emma said that, and then he just turns around and runs away. Emma is understandably mad at Regina because she manipulated that whole situation and timed it just perfectly. Emma says something to Regina about it, but she's just like, of course I knew he'd be here. I'm his mother, remember her. And the way Regina looked at Emma when she was walking out of her office was incredibly intense, but there was also a lot of emotion behind it. You could certainly see her evil queen side for a moment, but you also get a real glimpse into her soul and see just how hurt and afraid she is that her son may be taken away from her. talking points right here real quick. In Regina's office, the horse above her fireplace, was it meant to represent her love for horses, or possibly even the one that she had sacrificed the first time she attempted casting the curse? I'm really not sure about that. I'm genuinely curious, and I thought it was very interesting, and I just wanted to mention that to you guys. And second talking point for right here, manipulative as ever, no matter how it might hurt Henry, she still set up a ruse so that Emma would say something to upset and hurt Henry whenever he came in. And I'm sorry, but that's just not what you do as a mother. You do not set your child up to be hurt, especially by someone that he is trying to go close with and someone that clearly means a lot to him. Now, we all know that Regina means the world to him as well, but he is legitimately just trying to do what is best for not only himself, but for literally everyone in the town. In the next scene, we are taken back to the Enchanted Forest to find the evil queen walking through a hallway in her castle. And the way that they had the magic mirror follow her down the hall through all of those mirrors on the wall, that was beautifully done and well thought out, I have to say. I'm still just amazed at how they made that work. But I'm also kind of curious as to how exactly that worked in the mirror world that we eventually learn that Sydney is actually in. Like, was he really just running and touching all of these mirrors trying to get Regina to trying to get the evil queen to tell him what exactly was going on? Because you think about it though. Him just running in the world trying to keep up with her. And what's going on? What's going on? What's going on? It was funny. I'm sorry. Weird little thought that I had. Okay. So, the evil queen reaches her father and he asks her what happened while she was away. She tells him that she must cut out the heart of the one that she loves most, and he very quickly realizes that it's him. Regina's not sure what to do at this point because she does indeed love her father, but her thirst for revenge is too strong. So when he tells her that she can be happy, she agrees, but doesn't believe her happiness can be found any other way, so she uses her magic to rip his heart out of his chest. That's some intensely dark stuff when you think about it. I have a talking point right here I would like to discuss with you guys. So part of me still can't believe she actually did this, for the simple fact that later on in the show we get to see just how much her father truly loves her and wants what's best for her. I get that it was crucial to the story and I know that she regrets it, but I do also have to say and point out that if it weren't for his sacrifice, and I say sacrifice because he knew what his daughter was capable of and what she must do in order to get her revenge, and instead of running away to try to save his own life, he stays to try to convince her to do the right thing. So yes, in a way, I do see it as a sacrifice. But she never would have been able to eventually get back on the right path, and that light in her heart he so desperately wanted to shine through, it never would have gotten that chance. He knew that it was there all along, she just could not see it in herself at the time. And part of that is due to her mother, but we will definitely get to that later. Okay, rant over. I had to share that with you guys. Next, we find ourselves back in Storybrooke and see Mary Margaret cross-stitching when Emma knocks on her door. Emma pays her back for bailing her out of jail, and Mary invites her in to talk. Mary gives Emma a mug of hot cocoa with cinnamon, and Emma is surprised at the fact that Mary likes it that way as well. And, oddly enough, shortly after, Mary tells Emma that she has the feeling that they've met before. Then they start talking about Henry, and Emma tells Mary that she wants to leave, but she tells Emma, "Who will protect Henry if you won't?" And then we're taken away to Henry at his therapist's office. Talking point right here, I absolutely love the connection between Mary and Emma already. They are still essentially strangers to each other, yet they both trust the other, and Mary knows how good it is for Henry to have her in his life. Henry is very clearly still hurt by what he heard moments ago, but Emma comes in the room to convince him that she still believes in him. Archie immediately apologizes to Emma, but she understands why he did what he did, so there's no hard feelings there. Emma tells Henry that she had to throw Regina off their trail and that it was important for Operation Cobra. I still cannot get over how adorable and just absolutely perfect that name is, by the way. But she then burns the pages that Henry gave her and tells him that they now have the advantage. I'm sure all of you could tell by the look in her eyes that she was doing all of this because she cares about him and really wants what's best for him, which means going along with what he's been telling her instead of crashing it all down and him as well. But the way that she looked at the page that is technically a picture of her in her baby blanket held in her father's arms, that was very interesting, and I love the way that she did that. It was perfect. Emma and Henry then hug, and we're taken back to the Enchanted Forest. I have to say, a tiny little talking point, that hug between Emma and Henry is just incredibly heartwarming. We then see the evil queen standing in front of a fire in the same pit in which she used to attempt casting the dark curse the first time, only now she's alone and she has the final ingredient, the heart of the thing she loves most, her father's heart, and it's in one of her iconic boxes, of course. When she throws it into the fire, the dark curse is immediately enacted and the clouds are just beautiful, I must say. We then see her place a black rose on the grave of her father in which the headstone reads, Henry, beloved father, and that is the moment you learn that her son Henry was named after her father. Back to Storybrooke to find Regina still cleaning up her apple tree and Mr. Gold is walking up to speak with her. They begin to talk about Emma and Gold tells her that he saw Emma walking with Henry in town. Regina isn't happy with this news, but they continue their conversation and it takes quite the turn. Gold offers Regina a deal to help him get rid of Emma, but she turns him down. He then tells her that he likes the name Henry and asks her where she got it from. She continues to grow more and more angry because she realizes that Gold wanted Emma to come to town and wonders if that's the reason that he quote-unquote procured that specific baby for her. When Regina asks Gold who exactly Emma Swan is, he basically tells her that she already knows. She then asks him what he knows about her, but he refuses to tell her and excuses himself saying please, and of course she has to do so. He tosses an apple over his shoulder that he had just taken a bite out of a moment before as Regina is staring back at him intensely, and all this information is processing in her head. Final talking point right here. The final scene of the episode with Regina and Mr. Gold is brilliant, and part of me couldn't believe that she still really needed validation to something that she already knew. But the way that Gold just takes one bite out of that apple and throws it behind his shoulder just like Henry did before is too funny. And that, sadly, is the end of Season 1, Episode 2. Now, unfortunately, this episode of Once Upon a Spoiler won't be coming out on Tuesday as I had originally planned. Given current circumstances that were out of my control, this here episode will be going live on Thursday. However, next week's will be released on Tuesday as we have planned. Next week, of course, we will be discussing Season 1, Episode 3 of Once Upon a Time. So, make sure you all watch the episode before listening to that podcast. I want to truly thank you all for joining me for this week's episode of Once Upon a Spoiler. I am so excited to continue this journey with you, and I wish all of you gorgeous butterflies a wonderful week. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to email me at onceuponaspoilerpod@gmail.com. Again, that's onceuponaspoilerpod@gmail.com. Use the subject line to reference which episode, add in your first name if you want me to say it on this here podcast, or if you wish to remain anonymous. I'll go through, pull some at random to be discussed for our specially dedicated butterfly episodes. Alright, my beautiful butterflies, flap those gorgeous wings and let's celebrate this beautiful life together.